to Empower the Littles, Engaging K-2 Learners with Wixie. My name is Jacinta Sorgel, and I'm a District Technology Integration Coordinator for Kyrene School District in Tempe, Arizona. And I want to thank you all for being here and letting me share with you a little bit about how we use Wixie in Kyrene to empower our K-2 learners and to provide them with engaging and active learning experiences. In this session, I'm going to be covering how we use Wixie with project-based learning, how we use it with digital choice boards and digital task cards. And we are really, really lucky in our district because we have this amazing team of technology integration site leads who are also classroom teachers. And so they have helped us build these resources and provide them for our teachers to be able to use with their students. All of these resources address ELA, science, and social studies standards. And they provide students with active, engaging learning experiences where students are constructing their learning and they are producing products that demonstrate their learning understanding of concepts that are being taught to them. And Wixie is a major part of the tool, these tools, a major tool that we use to implement these types of learning experiences for our students. So I thank you for being here and letting me share this with you. I wanted to just start off with sharing with you a quote from, it's actually from Tech for Learning's Creative Educator site. Came from an article, oh gosh, it's years and years ago on project-based learning, but I've always held on to this quote because I just think it's a great quote and it's so appropriate for our session tonight. It states that to sustain a 21st century classroom, educators need to create learning environments that give students the permission to construct knowledge, not just receive it. And I think that's such an important thing for us to always keep in mind, because if we want our students to develop those higher level thinking skills that they need to be successful students, also to be successful in life, we need to give them meaningful ways to practice that. And so using project-based learning, digital choice boards, and task cards along with Wixie provides them with that opportunity in very meaningful ways. Another thing that Wixie allows us to do to empower our K-2 students is address those ISTE standards, the International Society of Technology and Education standards. Wixie can be used to address all of those standards, but the one standard that I feel like, my gosh, it just hits it out of the park. It's one of the best tools for it is the Knowledge Constructor standard, which involves students curating information, gathering information, and then constructing their knowledge with it, and then producing something that demonstrates their learning. And Wixie's tools and features allow students to do that. K-2 students especially, empowers them to do it because of all of the developmentally appropriate tools and resources they provide. And so hopefully you'll be able to see that in the examples that I have to share with you. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start off with project-based learning first. So like I said, we, our team has, been working on creating these resources. And so for project-based learning, what we've created is student activity guides that leads the students through the process of completing a project-based learning unit. And so this is an example of a first grade one. It's called Astronomy Expedition. And so on this one, the first graders are in the NASA Young Astronauts program. And so the NASA is looking for junior astronauts to do some research to create a presentation on how the stars, the moon, the sun relate to the Earth. And so the students are presented with their task and their guiding questions. And then the student activity guide leads them to starting their research. So they go to the knowledge gaining section. And this particular PBL is a group project. So each group is assigned a topic. And so in Wixie, you have that teams feature where you can put students in groups and they can collaborate on a Wixie project together, which is very easy to use and allows them to all contribute and collaborate and use all the tools within Wixie to create the presentation together. So in the knowledge gaining section, the students they get assigned their topic, and then they're provided with resources that we have found that are developmentally appropriate for them at their reading level, and will provide the content that they need. So it's a little bit of guided research for them. So we've got, Brain Pop Junior, we've got National Geographic Kids, Discovery Education. And so the kids will use these sites to gather and organize their information. So in the knowledge organizing section here, you'll see our district is a district that uses thinking maps. And so in this portion, where for this PBL, we ask them to choose a thinking map, or the teacher might direct them to what thinking map, depending on the group of kids that you have and what their needs are. And so the students would use a thinking map to gather that information and organize it. And then once they have that information, then they go to the knowledge sharing component of the PBL. And this is where Wixie really plays a huge part, because this is how students can demonstrate what they learned, right? The knowledge that they gained, and now they can put it together and present it and share it with others in an engaging and active way. And so it's a team project, and so they're all working on their own individual slide to contribute to it. And so this is an example here of a student's page. And what I wanted to point out to you is using Wixie to do this for K-2 students is, it just makes the process so easy for them. And for you, because you don't have to worry about going out and getting these images or trying to send them out to a site to get these images. Like, all of these images that are here are from the Wixie library, the sticker library. This background is from their sticker library. So the students can use the resources right within Wixie to design their page, and then use the text tool to type up their facts that they found. So anyways, this is, just an example of what's possible as far as a group PBL for a first grader or primary student. So the next one I wanted to share with you is a second grade example, and it's called Wonderful World of Insects. And on this one, the second graders are entomologists, and what they're being asked to do is the Phoenix Zoo is opening up a new insect exhibit, and they, as entomologists, they need to research their insects' habitat needs and their environmental needs and their life cycle. And then what they do is they have to put together a little multimedia presentation that when somebody goes to the Phoenix Zoo and they go to the insect exhibit and they want to learn about that particular insect, they can play the video and watch and learn about that insect's habitat, its environmental needs, and its life cycle. So again, just like the first grade example, the second graders have a knowledge gaining page that they'll go to. And this one is done independently. So each student is, they select their own insect that they want to research. And for this one, we actually, there's specific facts that we're looking for the students to find. And so we give them a research collection tool that they have to use to answer these questions. But then again, we provide them with, websites that they can use to gather that information. We also allow them to check out books from our library and use books from their classroom library also to conduct their research. Once they've collected all their information, they go to the knowledge organizing section. And here, this is a little more in depth than the what the first graders were doing, because here they need to finalize their facts that they collected on their research collection tool. But then they also need to, in Wixie, create a diagram of their insect's life cycle that they'll use it to be able to build their final presentation. And then the last part of the organizing before they can get to creating their product to share is storyboarding. And so you could have them storyboard digitally, but we really like the kids to storyboard on paper because first of all, I think it's just good practice for them to write on paper. And also what we find is that when it helps them to stay focused when they get on the computer, because they've got a plan, they know what they're going to be typing up, they know what their illustrations are going to look like. So, and this is an example of one of our second graders, who's now no longer a second grader, but she from Wagner Elementary School. And look at her, look at that artwork, isn't that amazing? Just amazing. So once they complete their storyboard, and so now they're ready to get into Wixie and actually build their multimedia presentation for the exhibit. And so they have to have all those components that were listed in their research collection tool. I'm going to play this example for you. It has music, but because of the way I shared my screen, the music won't play. But I want you to see the student's example so that you can see their end product and what detail they put into it. This, let me make this big too. And so I don't know if you can see this yet. I'll try to make it a little bit bigger once I hit play. This is probably one of my favorite projects to do with second graders. They love it. They are so engaged when they are doing it and motivated to really, you know how hard it is to get kids writing. But one of the things that they love about this is that we use the webcam in Wixie, the webcam option, and we have them take a picture of their face. And then they use that as the head of their insect's body. And then they convert it to a sticker and copy it from page to page. So you'll see the students in every single page, and they love it so much. Let me make that bigger. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop that right there. Didn't she do a fantastic job? I'll tell you, the quality of the work that the kids do is amazing because they love it so much, and the excitement they have to be able to share it with each other and with their parents. It's tremendous. It's one of my favorite things to do with students. So those are just two examples of how Wixie can be used with project-based learning. So hopefully there's something there that might inspire you to do something similar with your kids. I'm going to transition us over to digital choice boards. So we started using digital choice boards a couple of years ago. We love them. The kids love them. it empowers students because it provides them with the opportunity to not only make choices on what they want to choose to complete on the choice board, but also their sequence of learning. And I think it's really important to provide students with those opportunities. We use them for centers and stations. People have been using them during distance learning for asynchronous learning opportunities for students to complete. And so this is an example of one in Google Docs. You can create them. You can create them in Wixie. You can create them. We have teachers who create them in Google Slides. But what I wanted to share with you in this example is just that even with putting things, you don't have to create something ahead of time in Wixie to have your kids actually do something on a choice board that involves Wixie. So for example, this bald eagle one here, well, the kids click on the image, it takes them out to a video about the bald eagle that's on Discovery Ed. They watch the video, and then it tells them to open up Wixie just to a blank page, draw a picture of the bald eagle, and then write one fact they learn. That's something that once you know your first graders know how to use Wixie, that they can do independently, because they can just go to Wixie and then do it, and then you can go and look at it at a later time once they've let you know that it's completed. And this board also has another example of an activity that's a little more in depth, where the students are being asked to create a new US symbol. So then with that example, they can use the Wixie stickers and the drawing tools to design this brand new symbol, and then use the text tool to write about what that symbol represents. Why is it a US symbol? What does it represent about the United States? So these are really great to use. Another example is this kindergarten one on farms. So the reason why I wanted to share this one with you is because this example here, because Wixie has, for those of you who have used Wixie before, you probably know this, there are hundreds and hundreds of templates in there pre-made that are fantastic and ready for you to use. And so this is an example of putting a link to this sorting activity for animal. It's in the habitats folder. And so students can click on that link, go directly to the activity, and do the sorting activity. So with all of these examples that I'm sharing, what I love about them is that you don't have to create anything other than put the activity on the choice board and then give the kids the direction or link to the template, like this teacher did for this farm's choice board. So we really have lots of people using them, and like I said, the kids love them, and it is a great way to empower our students. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you is our digital task cards. So, and we actually used these during distance learning last spring when we had full-on closure. And so these were great. We got lots of feedback from the teachers that the students found them really engaging, and also from parents. Believe it or not, the parents really loved these task cards because they were simple, easy to follow, and provided everything in one place for the students to be able to access and complete the activity. And so this is an example. This is actually a kindergarten example on living and non-living things. And so the teacher who created this found 3 videos in Discovery Education, and they're hyperlinked here for the students to click on and watch. And then they have activities that they have to do. So the difference between these task cards and the choice boards is that the choice boards, the students can make different choices. They're actually choosing their sequence of learning, where you are telling them, here's what you need to do first, here's what you need to do next, but it's nice and concise and all in one place. So it's really great for, you know, station centers, asynchronous learning during any closures or distance learning that you have to have during this time. And doing it in Wixie is wonderful because I don't know if many of you have used the instructions clipboard option here to type in instructions. We did that with all our task cards, and that was really helpful because, of course, as you know, our kindergartners, for the most part, are non-readers. And you know, even in first and second grade, we have struggling readers. And so they could just press the play button and listen to the computer voice, you know, read it, or teachers could record, you know, can record their own voice if they're reading it. So I just love that about, you know, about Wixie, that you have that opportunity to be able to do that, to make it, you know, appropriate for our little ones who aren't all readers yet. So, so on this one, they watch the videos and then they go to the next page. And this is just one of the sorting activities that's already in the template library. And so it's just pulled in here for the students to do. And then when they're done with that, there's a question for them to answer where they can use the drawing tools and the, you know, the images in the sticker library to illustrate their answer. And then there's just a draw and label activity for living and non-living. So just it's simple, easy to do, all in Wixie, and you can assign it to your class and then be able to see how they're doing. I'm going to go show you one more, and then I'll stop and let you ask any questions you have. So here's another example. This is a second grade example on economics. So that's in our social studies standards in Arizona for second grade. And so this one's on earning, saving, and spending. So here we're using the hyperlink feature to link out to a Brain Pop Junior that the kids have to watch. And then from there, they've got a couple of activities for them to do. This one, they have to drag the cash register in the box for spending, or the piggy bank into the box if it's something that they're saving for. And then the teacher who created this provided a little answer key so they can check their work. And then they have a place where they can answer questions about how will you earn money, and then use the drawing tools and the text tool to answer that question. And what I love about this task card is that, you know, it's got an example of an activity that teachers pre-made, but then it's got examples of ways that students are, you know, actively creating and producing something to demonstrate their understanding of earning, saving, and spending that they learned from the Brain Pop Junior and from, you know, what you're covering with them in class. And so there's just a couple of those. So just another really great example of a digital task card learning experience that you can provide students through Wixie. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation because I wanted to share with you all the things that I'm covering with you. A lot of it comes from we have a class called Empower the Littles. And so our teachers, these resources that are on this slide, our teachers use to help them with, you know, identifying activities and lessons that can be done in Wixie and projects that can be done in Wixie that provide students the opportunity with constructing their learning and producing products to demonstrate their learning. So I included this here for you so you can go back to them. They're all great resources, how to meet the ISTE technology standards with Wixie, how to address the web's depth of knowledge, using they have these great Common Core guides that have great ideas for providing students with active learning experiences. And then this is the astronomy PBL and the insect PBL and the US Symbols Choice Board. I placed them there in case you want to check them out. And I think Tiffany's going to put that in the chat for you so that you can access it and when you have time to check it out when you like. Well, thank you, everyone.